Welcome back to Go Get That Rose. If you can't tell, I'm tired. I'm tired of this season. I'm just tired of it. I mean, it's sunny today, but it's been raining the past 2 weeks here. I'm sure J Wade is tired of snow. That's just the theme of us here. But welcome to Go Get That Rose. We are recapping Matt James' season of The Bachelor. Still, I literally feel like this season has been on forever. I feel like I say that about every season, but I feel like this has been a really long season. But I'm also surprised that next week is hometowns. I don't know how that works. I'm like, we're there already, but I feel like we've been watching this season for 2 years. So,
It's not fun, and we talked about this last night. It's not fun. It's hard. Some of it's hard to watch. Well, all of it's hard to watch, but for different reasons. I think one of the main reasons is because these girls are just extremely mean and cruel, and that does not make it fun. It makes it hard to watch if you're someone who is not really into putting people down like that. And then of course production disrespecting the game.
Constantly.
It's just hard to watch, and you're right. It feels like it's just dragging on.
It really does, because I was thinking we have to deal with all the girls being mean to Heather, and I was like, wait, Victoria was also this season? The drama with Anna was also this season? That just seems so long ago. But yeah, I don't know. I heard someone on a podcast say that, do you think the girls this season are meaner because they're not able to travel? They've been in the same hotel with the same people. You can't do anything. You know what I mean? Do you think the environment has kind of just made mean's not the right word, but maybe just more catty and more annoyed with each other because they literally just spend all day same place? Maybe they're just going stir crazy. I mean,
with that, I think that has a lot to do with it. But at the same time, on the plus side of that, he's getting a really good look at who these girls really are, because that helps when you're in a situation like that, and you can't. I don't know. You're more yourself, I would think, in that kind of a situation than if you're able to be out and be social around others and stuff like that. So there is an upside to it, but that just depends. Now it depends on whether or not Matt takes advantage of the upside and continues to drop the dead weight, meaning the mean girls, like he did last week or the week before, whenever he did it, which was amazing.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's been really cool that he's been doing that. But what sucks is we saw that. Well, for me, when he cut all the mean girls a couple weeks ago, I was like, okay, well, now we cleaned house. Then last week, another girl or two came out of their little shell, and it's like, okay, get them out of here. They're gone now, with MJ being one for sure. And then now here we are again, and then it turns out that the rest of the girls are all fucking shitty. So, well, except for Abigail, but he sent her home, which is okay because now she can be the Bachelorette.
Yeah, I agree. I'm so tired. Okay, so let's start off, before we even get into the show, just a brief talk about, there's been a shakeup in Bachelor Nation. Last Wednesday, actually, was the start of everything, with Chris Harrison talking about, everyone knows, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, I guess, but Chris Harrison kind of defending the one girl, Rachel, on this season, and some of actions that have come out against her, calling her racist and stuff like that. I said last night, we did we talked on stereo. I said I'm still I have a lot of different feelings on the whole situation. I don't really know how I feel about everything. But at the end of the day, Chris Harrison stepped away from the franchise. Didn't really say for how long, just said that he will not be at the After the Final Rose that they're going to film, that he's temporarily stepping away. I'm taking that to mean that he will be back before The Bachelorette. or for the Bachelorette, and if not the Bachelorette, he will be back for Paradise. Like, I don't think he's going anywhere. I could be wrong, and if this keeps going and going and people just keep being upset or bring valid reasons or different things and they fire him, that could happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think ABC, I think ABC and the executives really like him a lot. Like, he is the face of the show for the most part, kind of. And I think that they really like him, and they won't be the ones to, like, get rid of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have faith, and I told you this last night too when we talked about it. I don't have faith in him being able to weather the cancel culture that we've got going on right now. I'm not stating an opinion or support or lack of support. I'm staying out of all this shit because it ain't got nothing to do with me. But I just don't think he'll be able to weather the cancel culture that's going on right now. I would hope so, just because I'm not a fan of people losing their livelihoods and shit like that over comments and stuff. I understand that people can say hurtful things or say things that people can hurt them and not others. I mean, it's a very slippery slope as far as how people perceive things. I'm very respectful of everyone is free to their own thoughts and feelings and how they take things. But I care far more about what people do as opposed to what they say. And I always take that into account. And I'm just not a fan of canceling people and stripping them of their livelihoods and whatnot because of things that they say, their opinions, their thoughts on things. I'm just really not about that. So I hope he can weather through it because I'm not a fan of that. Now, if it comes out that he actually has done things that are not good and not right, then that's a whole nother conversation. But I mean, imagine if he did get fired, I would imagine he would still retain his executive producer credits and titles. So, I mean, yeah, it's one thing to work, you feel productive, but at the same time, let's be real, man. If you can collect a paycheck still and not do anything, bring it on, in my opinion.
I mean, what does he really do on the show anyway? Like, people on Monday night, people are saying, like, we're boycotting The Bachelor. We don't want to support Chris. We don't really want to support this. There was, like, a whole thing going around. And people are like, I thought they would just blur him out at this point every time he shows up. And I'm like, he doesn't really show up on the show that much. Like, his
screen time is so microscopic compared to
what does he
everything else.
He doesn't really do anything, to be honest. Like, he just comes out and's like, here's the date, here's what your week's gonna look like, and then leaves and shows up on the rose ceremony. And it's like, that's really from the viewer's point of view, that's all he really does. He's probably doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we just don't know about. Probably is having conversations with the leads. I don't know. I don't think he is. But that's what I mean. Like, I don't understand. Like, I just feel like he doesn't, if they are going to replace him, it's just kind of like he doesn't really do that much on screen anyway. Like, it's just kind of like, well, there's Chris Harrison, and it's more of a joke, like, oh, there he is, he just shows up. You know what I mean? It's not like it's an actual role that's needed. It's just like, oh, it's Chris Harrison. He's always been there. He's done this from the first season. Like, the first season, he was pitched as being, like, the Bachelor's little brother, like the guy that's always there to help him out and help him pick. Like, that was Chris Harrison's, like, role. But now it's gone so past that where it's just like, it's a joke now.
Right on.
You know? So I don't know. There's a lot of talk, people like who they want to fill in his role and stuff like that. People from Bachelor Nation. I saw like Mario Lopez. People want Mario Lopez and the guy from Survivor.
Gimme Demi all day and night. That would be.
I don't know if I want Demi. I don't know.
Let's see.
Give me something. Yeah, okay. Give me Demi. me something new. Give me.
I think a female would be interesting, and I just think she's got a great personality. I think it would be fun.
Yeah, that's true. It would be fun because she would. I feel like she would mess around, like be a little bit more jokey, and like a fun kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway. Moving on.
Girls Part 3. Well,
so
by this time,
tired.
Part 4 or 5 or 6 or 7.
All right, this episode, I literally almost turned it off within the first 10 minutes because I was just over. Like, I was literally just screaming at the television / my phone that I was watching it on. So it was a continuation of the whole Heather drama, which to be honest, we knew that Heather probably wasn't going to stay around.
I thought otherwise. I thought he was going to let his relationship with Tyler and Hannah, because they know him. I figured it'd be like one of those, well, here's a friend of mine telling me she has a friend who would be perfect for me, which he mentioned that, but he did make the right decision, I think. I don't
think so.
Cool to bring her in this late in the process.
Yeah, I think especially since they kept saying that Hometowns was so close.
Yeah.
I get that. Here's where I had the issue was the women's reaction to the whole thing. It was just they react the same way anytime someone new comes in. They were just so nasty. Like, I understand being upset. I understand kind of like, who is this? Especially in that environment, like, there's so many different things happening. I understand, like, maybe you're exhausted, you're tired, you're stressed, that getting the better of you. But, like, things they were saying to her were just rude. And, like, you didn't have to say it like that. Like, and especially, we talked about it last night, like, there were girls that I was like, oh, you are actually rude. Like, you act all nice and sweet. Like, Jacenia, everyone was loving Jacenia, the way she was talking to MJ. And then the way she was talking to Heather was just like, they all knew she was on The Bachelor before, and they just kept bringing that up, which has really nothing to do with anything, because that happens all of the time. People don't show up this late, but, like, it has happened multiple seasons where other contestants will come on a new season, and the people are upset, but they'll come on because they really think they have a connection. Like, Nick Viall went on, like, 2 seasons back-to-back. Becca Tilley went on back-to-back seasons and got really far on. She was, like, runner-up, and then she went on the next season and was, like, top 6. Like, it happens a lot. So the fact that they were just like, oh, you're just here, like, it didn't work out for you the last time, so now you're just bouncing between bachelors. It's like, no, like, Heather maybe went, and a lot of people are saying Heather went in a little naive to think, like, they would be all happy and friendly, because she was like, hey, like, I'm just here to meet Matt. Like, yeah, maybe it was a little naive on her part, but, like, I think they would have been ruder if she would have showed up and be like, hey guys, I'm here. You know what I mean? If she would have showed up like a bitch and be like, I don't care, I'm taking your spot, I'm here for Matt, like, they would have freaked out. But the fact that she was like,
up like Victoria walks in the room and the first thing she says is,
yeah, like, she, like, Heather, I think it was a good approach, like, to just be like, hey, like, sweet and nice. That's what I would have done, and they just tore her apart. And she starts literally crying in front of them, and they're like, go talk. It's Serena. I want to slap her in her face.
Her to leave. Like, leave. Yeah. And it's like, dude, don't be bitches. Come on.
Serena was like, go cry in your interview because I don't want to deal with you right now. And it's like, that is so rude. Like, who are you? You don't have a relationship with Matt. We have never seen you on our screen. I think that's what makes me mad, is these girls are, like, complaining. Piper was pissing me off. I never really liked Piper, but she really pissed me off this whole episode, where she was just like, I deserve an apology for you interrupting me. It's like, no, the fuck you don't. Like, what are you talking about? It was like
Dude, apologies are not deserved. No one deserves an apology for anything. Apologies come when the person who has done something wrong legitimately and sincerely realizes they've done something wrong and they apologize. To ask or demand for an apology is it's selfish. It's about you feeling better and you having power over someone to make them bend to you enough to say, I'm sorry, and it's not sincere. The only people who want forced apologies are people like that broad who just want it to make her feel more superior and that she got this girl to bend and say, I'm sorry. Screw that.
I don't understand because
don't say sorry. That's all I gotta say.
She was like going off at her, and she was like, "You took away my time. I don't have time." And I was like, "Girl, you had a whole one-on-one this week. You have a rose. Why are you freaking out? Like, calm down. Like, I understand." And then they're just like, "Well, if Matt decides to keep her, like, then I can't trust him because how could he keep someone this close?" And it's like, that's none of your business.
Yes.
Like, that is his relationship with Heather or his relationship with the other people. That shouldn't affect you. Like Rachel saying, like, if he keeps her, then that means he doesn't care about my relationship. Not really. It doesn't. Like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Maybe it's because I've never been in that world, so I don't know what it feels like, but like, it's just frustrating to watch these girls just be so like, well, if Matt chooses her, then he really doesn't like me. And it's like, that you're not a part of this. Like, this is not your show. It's not about you. It's about Matt. And if he likes Heather and wants to keep Heather, then you need to respect the fact that he thinks that there's something going on with Heather. You know what I mean? Like, you need to respect his decision. Like, you can't preach this whole time and off the show, preach that you guys love each other in harmony and that you trust Matt and trust these decisions. And anytime something happens that you're out of control, freak out and be nasty and be rude. And the fact that Matt came in after he sent Heather home, and I felt like he kind of like disrespected Heather where he was like, I'm so sorry about that. That was totally uncalled for. So, and like, inappropriate.
It was disrespectful of Heather to do that. I really do. I think it was disrespectful of her to do that. And it was really kind of shitty of her to put Matt in that position, I think.
I disagree.
Where he's coming from when he did. I had no issues with that. What I did have big issues with was well, I forgot what that was, but when the girls were saying how if he picks her to stay, then I'm gonna leave and stuff like that. At that point, I did a complete 180, and I wanted him to have Heather stay just to see how many of those girls would actually put up and leave like they were running their mouth they would do, because none of them would. You know what I mean? They'd all look like stupid little fucking fools. And that would have been amazingly funny. But, and another thing is, you know, as far as him saying, like, you know, if he keeps Heather here, then he didn't really, you know, like me or what, all that kind of stuff. Dude, even if she didn't show up, there was a rose ceremony that night, and you might be going home anyway. So shut up, you know? It's terrible.
It was a mess. The whole thing was a mess. It was unnecessary, honestly, like with Heather showing up. I don't hate it as much as like everyone seems to hate the fact that she showed up. I just wish it was sooner in the season. I think for her showing up so late was just unnecessary. Especially for her to just turn around and go home. It was like, what was the point of this? Like, this is taking away time of us getting to see him spend time with these women. Because honestly, at this point, I still know nothing about these women except for Abigail, who went home. Well, you know what I mean? Like, I called the top 4, but just because, like, I was like, oh, those are the ones that he's kind of given the most time to, but I really don't know anything about them. Like, I don't really care about any of them winning. Like, at this point, I think Rachel is going to win because I think that's the one that he has the most chemistry with, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like she's going to win, and because of all the outside drama going on, the way that that's being handled, I think kind of shows that she makes it really far. But other than that, like, I don't know. I don't know who's going home next. I don't know who she could be. Rachel could be top 3, or she could be the runner-up. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all interchangeable, which is kind of exciting because I don't know. but at the same time, it's frustrating because I'm like, I don't know who Matt is into. Like, I really don't.
Right.
And it's hard because, like, people, for the most part, watch this show for the love aspect of it. I think that is the real, like, for the most part.
Love has nothing to do with this show on any level
anymore, but it used to. Like, this show used to.
Has. You cannot fall in love with someone that you have known for like a month, dude. It is not going to. You don't know that person. Prime example is like how you were telling me last week, the dude who ended up stalking the chick or whatever. That's that proves my point. We don't know these people. These people who are together don't know each other.
The guy that was stalking Colton.
Yeah, when they get off of the show, that other person could do a complete 180 flip and murder that motherfucking person in their sleep. You never
that hasn't happened yet.
You do not know these people, therefore you cannot love these people. But
we do love these people. But that's the trashy reality TV aspect of it. We're caught up in these people falling in love with each other, and who's he going to pick in the end because he's in love with
falling in love. That's what I'm saying. It's not.
I know that's what you're saying, but I'm saying they're marketing it. I said this last night. I'm sorry that I'm yelling. I said this last night that this show is pushed to middle America, middle-aged women that love trashy Hallmark movies. They love the Netflix, like, To All the Boys I Loved Before. Like, they love all that shit. And so they love this show because they love, like, is he going to fall in love with Becca, or is he going to fall in love with whatever? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's what they like. I know it's not real love. It never really works out in the end. And if it does, it's kind of a miracle. But it's the fact that you just turn your brain off and you're like, is this man going to pick one of these 30 women to fall in love or not? It's an experiment, which is fun to watch. But over the past couple years, it has just been so much about the drama and the produced aspect of it, where it's gone away from that, like, I know it's ridiculous, but almost like, this could really happen. Like, a little bit more, he really is falling in love with these people, not so much like, oh, he's being produced and pushed into falling in love. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it just feels like it's not fun to watch because you're not really believing that these people are falling in love with the people which is the premise of the show, is for them to fall in love and get engaged and get married at the end, which hasn't happened because they keep picking younger and younger people. And the world's changing, and now we're realizing, like, that's not how love works, and you, like you're saying, like, you can't really do that. But, like, people are still clinging on to that hope of, like, I'm going to watch this man fall in love with 30 women. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that will never happen. But, I mean, what could happen is to get true entertainment by having real people on that show. I've said it time and time again. You need to have real average people on that show, such as myself. Hashtag J Wade for Bachelor, because fat guys deserve love too. Now listen to me. We all deserve love. We all deserve happiness. We all deserve at least the shot at that. And it's great that they've been more inclusive, and we've got Matt. That's awesome. Keep it coming, baby. But dude, let's get some real people in there. And I don't just mean real as far as looks and physical appearance, but I mean real as far as personality. Let's be honest, everybody. These people on these shows, they are not real, okay? They are produced and staging shit, and they're fake as fuck. And that's how they live their lives. Most of them, I'm confident to say, at least. So we need some real people. Like, for example, if I were on The Bachelor, I guarantee you I will send at least one girl home immediately upon meeting her on arrival. Now, that's not like being judgy, like in a bad judgy way, but everyone on this planet can look at someone and know whether or not they are interested in them on any level whatsoever. So that's the reality of it. And then I'm not going to mess around with all this stupid lovey-dovey bullshit. Dude, if we're talking about relationships, first of all, we're going to talk about shit that matters. Do you like Star Wars? Okay. What's your favorite music? You don't like pop country, right? Because that's a deal breaker. Smoking and drinking. Here, for real though, smoking and drinking. I don't want to be with a girl who smokes or drinks. That's important to me. I would boot chicks off of that show who's well, not the drinking so much, but the smoking more so. Because I can't stand kissing cigarette and alcohol breath. Cigarette breath is always there. The alcohol breath, I can deal with that sometimes. But see, I'm so real. Let's be real. The shit that really matters in relationships and lives. Do you want to have kids? How many kids do you want to have? What are your religious beliefs, if you have any at all? If we have differing religious beliefs, can we work past that? What do we have in common? What do we not have in common? What would we like to work on about ourselves? The important shit. Not like, I think I'm falling in love with you and I've known you for 5 days. That's fake. J Wade for Bachelor.
That was great. That was great. Speaking of people, like this season, more girls have told Matt that they're falling in love with him. Like, I think that I've ever seen. Or maybe I'm just taking off guard because I haven't seen them interact with him at all. So I'm like, how are you falling in love with him when we haven't seen you ever talk to him? Like, I don't understand. So, I mean, rose ceremony, Chelsea and Serena C, I think, excuse me, both got sent home along with Heather, but she wasn't at the rose ceremony. She got booted. And then she had to drive herself out in the van. That was messed up.
That was great. Well, hey, I mean, you came in driving the van. Get the hell out driving the van.
That was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so then it's the final week before hometowns, which usually they'll start. This show changes up so much because all seasons I've watched, they've done like one group date and 3 to 4 one-on-one dates, like quick little dates. Or they'll do 3 one-on-ones and 1 bigger group date, depending on how many people are left. And then this week, they did 2 one-on-ones and a big group date. And sometimes they don't have any roses up for grabs on the dates, only on the group date. Sometimes they do on the date. It's just inconsistent, which drives me nuts. It's like, can we just make this week the same? But whatever. So 2 one-on-one dates. There were roses up for grabs on the dates, which means next week hometowns, parents, all the fun stuff. Boring. So naturally, I mean, I went into this episode thinking like, okay, Abigail's finally getting her one-on-one, and I knew Jacenia was going to get one because I saw it in the preview. So I was like, okay, the final 2 girls are finally going to get their one-on-one dates, and whatever. No, that's not what happened. Serena P got the one-on-one date, which was really like, what?
Kind of shitty, wasn't it? That was her second one.
That was her second one before Abigail ever got one. I mean, they'll do, like, people start to get a second one, like, that happens, like, to add the drama, but usually before, the week before hometowns, but you know what I mean? Like, it's usually the people that haven't had a one-on-one date yet don't really make it this far before they start handing out second ones, you know what I mean? Which I have thoughts on Abigail and all that stuff. But Serena P got a date. I don't know. Do you really have anything? They did like tantric yoga. She was super uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah, she was very uncomfortable. I didn't think I was getting the feeling that she was going to exit herself at the end of that date.
That's what a lot of people are saying. Maybe I don't think I was paying attention that much during this. Maybe that's what it was.
I also think it maybe turned Matt off a little bit when she was talking about how she obviously has an issue with being like that close and that like intimate with someone, and she was uncomfortable with that. And I think it came off to me like maybe Matt noticed that she said that for sure and is keeping that in mind. But I thought for sure she was going to remove herself at that date, but it didn't happen.
I wonder, I've seen other people talk that they feel like Serena is just not as into Matt as he is into her. I honestly don't even know how into her he is either. I don't know. Matt confuses
We'll
me.
find out at Fantasy Suites.
Dang.
Oh man, that was a bad.
I don't know if she'll make it. Like, I think she'll probably send herself home.
I
probably. Maybe like after Matt meets her family, and she's just like, there's just like disconnect. There's something not here. Probably send herself home or something. Yeah, I could see that because honestly, like, she said like she was uncomfortable. She was uncomfortable at PDA. It's just never mind. I can't say like that you're wrong, but it's just you, Matt, and the yoga instructor. It's not like you're in front of a group of people. But whatever. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, that is a really important thing to talk about. Like, if Matt is a really big like physical touch person, like if that's how he knows like that he's loved, and that is not something that she's comfortable with, like he needs to know that. Like, and that's, I mean, that's kind of like I'm a pretty big like physical touch, like that's like just like holding hands or going up and like touching, like I'm trying to make this not sound crazy, but you know what I mean, like hugs and hanging on to people, like that's how I like will show that. And my husband does not like it when we're out in public, which I cannot understand that, because I'm like, I'm not making out with you, I'm just trying to hold your hand. But for him, it just makes him kind of uncomfortable, which is fine. But that's something that like we never really talked about until we got married, and I think that it is something important, especially in this setting, to kind of be like, this is how I show love, this is how I feel loved, like just being on the same page, you know. And I did like that she was upfront with him, like, I did not like that date, I will never do that again, that was very uncomfortable for me. Like I like that a lot, and I like her a lot, actually.
You know, and talking about the important things that need to be discussed, Star Wars and you know, public
your love language
of affection and stuff like that. Another important one that we also talked about last night, that I don't think anyone would think about. Apparently, you didn't, but noise and fans and sleeping situations, like how cool you like it. Does it have to be silent? Do you need noise? Because I mean, it sounds like you guys didn't talk about that, and then you found out the hard way that you like noise and cold air, and he doesn't. So one of you then has to adjust.
Yes, these are the important questions they need to ask.
For real though, it's these little things. I think in this show, they overlook that the little tiny things that really do add up and make I mean, they're not going to make or break something.
No, but they'll add to frustration, which will add something else.
Yes, they do matter.
Yeah.
And if you at least have the discussion ahead of time, you still may not see eye to eye or resolve it by the time you get married, but at least that level of frustration won't be as high because you've already discussed it before you plunged into the marriage.
Yes.
So moral of the story is, if you're engaged, make sure your fiance likes cold weather, cold air, and noise, because if they don't, dump them and find someone who does.
That's not the moral of the story.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, Serena ended up getting the rose. She'll be in the hometowns, like we said. I can see her. I don't know how it's going to work out with the rest of the girls, but I could see her leaving. Like, I could see her exiting herself. Yeah. Okay. Then we have the group date, which we didn't see anything in the morning. They just had a nighttime dinner, which was weird, but okay. And Matt is like, I want you all to lay it out on the table. I want you to tell me everything, which I was like, oh no.
Here we go.
So I've seen a lot of people upset. Like, Bree basically laid it all out there to him and was like, look, I just resigned from my dream job so I could stay here with you, which is that's a pretty big deal. And he was just like, thank you, I appreciate that, and didn't give her the rose, which
what the fuck?
I don't know if that.
I'm not saying he should have, just because of what she said. if he wasn't going to give her one in the first place, he shouldn't change his mind just because of what she said.
But
that would have been wrong.
Yes.
But,
yeah.
I mean, still, man, for fuck's sake, that's a
But
terrible.
the fact that he still gave her one at the rose ceremony, like, maybe he should have just, like, hey, I'm going to give you one. Maybe he really didn't know if he was going to give Brie one. He ended up giving Rachel the rose, and all Rachel really said was, like, I'm nervous about you meeting my parents because I've never felt this way before, and he was, like, eating that up. I think he really likes Rachel. Like, I think he really, really likes Rachel. Which, besides all the stuff that's come out about her, I just don't like her. I just don't think she has a personality. Is that rude? Like,
do any of these girls have a personality?
No.
I mean, I'm not trying
really
to be rude, but I'm just being honest. Do any of these girls have a personality? And if they do, is it their own personality?
At this point, no.
That's what I meant by, like, they're all fake. They're not real human
Michelle.
beings.
I like Michelle. I like Michelle.
I don't know.
We haven't. She's in the top 4. She's the one that came in with the rest of the girls, and they had the really cute, like, the hot air balloon. And
all right, yeah.
And she's the teacher. I like her. We haven't seen much from her since then, to see if she really is real, but she seems pretty chill and down to earth.
Yeah.
And
she's the black gal from the Midwest, right? Teacher.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm bad with names, dude. I'm just really bad with names. I keep track of who's who based on what they do and say. That's how I keep track of who they are. But yes, I do like her. She seems really, really down to earth, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Rachel.
No, that's Michelle.
Michelle. I don't know names. That's right, because Rachel, we were just talking. It's the names, dude. I'm sorry. For me, I look at this like it's a game. Like what it really is, it's a game. And that's how I look at it. So to me, they're just players in a game. And unless they impress me with high stats and
you don't learn your name.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan. You can see my Ken Griffey Jr. jersey behind me here. I'm a Reds fan. I know maybe 2 or 3 names of the guys on that team over the last 2 years. It's because they fucking suck. And there's nothing worth remembering because they aren't good. I'm a fan of the team more than the players. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of the sport more than I am individual players. Same here. I am a fan of the game of The Bachelor more than I am the players. And so that's why I get on one so much about disrespecting the game. Dude, it's a game and it's got to be respected.
Sure. All right, so let's talk about Abigail. Poor Abigail, never got a one-on-one. It's so weird. She got the first impression rose and then nothing. Got a group date rose, but really no validation, just kind of dragged along. I feel really bad for her. I think she knew that she was going to go home. Oh, she obviously knew she was going home because she basically said to Matt, look, if you're going to dump me, tell me now. Don't put me through a rose ceremony. I know you're going to send me home. Just let me go. Don't do that to me. That's humiliating.
I respect it, man.
I respected that too.
Because you're at that point where it's dude, there's no more messing around. You know whether or not you want me to be around. If you don't, then let's not have this bullshit conversation. Just tell me, let's part ways.
And I saw Matt's getting a lot of heat for saying, I gave you the first impression rose because I was really comfortable with you the first night, but then my relationship started to kind of grow with the other women. And was essentially kind of saying, I think he was saying, you were a comfort, but then I started to be comfortable with other people, and I didn't need you anymore.
Yeah.
Without coming out and saying it. But, well, he practically did say that. Which I just feel bad. I feel like he's known for a while he really wasn't into Abigail and just wanted to keep her around and kind of kept giving her validation. Yeah. Which I just feel really bad for her, and maybe it was a little bit producer too, kind of like, hey, isn't into the drama. She's a really good girl. We really like her. Maybe they were kind of like, we could use her for Bachelorette, maybe. So, like, can you keep her around so we can see, you know what I mean? Like, kind of see.
More exposure.
Yeah, give her exposure. Because we really did see a lot of her for never getting a one-on-one. And I think she gave a really good exit. You have to pay attention, especially at this point, to their limo exits, what they say, because a lot of the stuff, that's what they're going to use for the audience, for their connections to be the next lead. And the ones that go in there and are very blatantly obvious about, like, I'm just looking for love, like, kind of winking at the camera, those are the ones that you're like, no. Like,
right.
You just want to be Bachelorette. But I think Abigail did a really good job where it was kind of a little more ambiguous, where she was like, I'm always the girl that guys realize what they want, but I'm never the one that they want. And I just want to be wanted, which I was like, perfect. That's great, because it felt real. Like, it didn't feel like she was saying something to set up being the Bachelorette, but it was something that they could use and be like, here's her journey, and now men are gonna want her. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, it's perfect. I still think, unless something happens, I still think she's probably our best option, best choice. I think people still really, really like her, which is crazy because we really didn't see much of her, and people love her. Besides the fact that she's hearing impaired, I just really like her a lot. She just seems very sweet and kind and caring. And compared to the other one, I mean, I would like to see Michelle too. I wouldn't be upset if Michelle was the Bachelorette. I like her a lot. She seems really real. The teacher, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna remember her name now. Michelle, teacher.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. And Michelle's a little bit older. I think Michelle's like 29, older. But you know, like, I wouldn't mind her or Abigail being the lead. It all depends what's going to happen the next couple of episodes. Who gets their heart broken more to depend on who becomes the next Bachelorette, honestly. And at Women Tell All, too, they kind of use that as a platform for who they'll pick next.
How many of the girls do you think he's going to bang in the fantasy suite? Do you think he'll bang all three?
I don't know.
I mean, he'll have his way with at least one of them.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did with all three, because I feel like he doesn't really know what he wants. Where, like, the leads that know who they're going to pick up to that point will only do it with the one, so the other.
There's bang, scrog, screw.
Oh my gosh.
There's all kinds of terms we can use for it. It's okay, man. You can speak freely here.
So, like,
adults.
For, like, Nick Viall's season, he knew who was going to pick Vanessa, his winner, from, like, the first week. Like, he knew. And so when he got to the fantasy suites, I can't remember if he did say that they had sex. I don't remember. But he has clearly said, like, the other two, they did not do anything. Like, they didn't make out, or really, they may have made out, but, like, he didn't have sex with his other two runners-up because he knew he was going to pick Vanessa. With Matt, I don't know if Matt knows who he's going to choose. So I could see him exploring his options with the other women. I also don't know how important that is to him in terms of a relationship. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, I could see him screwing, doing it. Screwing feels dirty.
We've got copulation, lovemaking, sexual relations. We've got carnal knowledge.
Okay, I'm cutting this off. There's two more things I want to talk about before.
Dude,
there's three things I want to talk about before we go.
Intimacy, of course, is a light one. Fooling around, lovemaking. Relations, that's always a good one. We had relations last night. A sexual union, okay, no, thank you. Yeah, there's all kinds of terms, but I do think that. All right, I'll stop.
All right, let's talk about Kit leaving, which I was really surprised. Huh?
Her with her stupid fucking name always being like, keep in touch.
Oh my god. Okay, so Kit like laid it all out there with Matt and was like, I have a 5-year plan. I want to finish college before I get married, and I don't want to start having kids until I'm 25. She's 21, which I'm going to be honest, I understand where she's coming from, because when I was 22, I was like, I'm not getting married until I'm 24, and I'm not having kids until I'm 27. Well, then I got married, like, the next year, so that plan didn't really work out. Still don't have kids, though, so that one, still sticking to it. But I understand her having these, like, dreams, like, I'm not willing to budge on this. I want someone to be my cheerleader and all of this. I get that, but I'm also like, then why did you go on the show? Exactly. Why are you here? If you were not ready to get married, if you didn't want to get married right away, which is fine, you can have a long engagement, but like that's not fair of you to go on this show knowing that there's an engagement at the end of it, to ask him, can you wait at least 5 years to get engaged while I'm still trying to figure out who I am?
What the way it came off to me is, can we get engaged and then we just hang out for 5 years while we're engaged, which to me would be even worse than someone being like, hey, can you wait 5 years and then propose to me? Because I got some
No. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, they get engaged, but then they just wait.
Okay.
They have a 5-year engagement. Like, they just...
Yeah, I don't... That's not fair to him. That's not cool
at all. That's not fair. Yeah.
And he could have known at the very beginning and then possibly given someone else a chance.
So that makes me kind of question her intentions, honestly, because as soon as she didn't get the rose, she shows up there and is like... I'm going home. Like, I'm going to go home. You deserve someone that's ready to be engaged to you tomorrow, because this is getting serious. And I wonder if Matt would have sent her home or given her a rose, because he didn't really seem like he wanted her to go, because he was like, he said something like, I have fun with you, I still want you to stay. Like, he was trying to get her to stay, and she was like, no, I'm going home, bye. And then just left. Like...
She sucks. I didn't like her from night one.
I don't know. Just very confused. Like, very, like, why are you here if you didn't... What? Okay.
She was there so that she could wear a couple of her mommy's dresses for free advertisement and promotion. That's why.
But at that point, why not stick around, wait until your mom comes on the show to really be advertising for hometowns, and then send yourself home? You know? Like, oh, this just isn't going to work. Bye.
Like, later. I didn't get a rose. Bye.
She'll be there on Paradise. She'll be back.
I hope so.
I'm sure. I would love to see
some of her mom's bikinis. Oh,
her and Bennett. Everyone wants her and Bennett to get together because they're both New York City socialites. Mr. Harvard.
Dude, American Psycho. I hope no one ever goes for him.
I hope Kit goes for him.
He's terrible.
He's old, though. He's like 36, and she's 21. Mm-mm.
Oh, man. He's probably into it.
Oh, God. Okay, then we have Jacenia's date, which looked like a fun date, but they had no chemistry, and she went home. I wasn't surprised. I was like, she going home. I know she's going home. Also, okay, it looked like a fun date, but if I would have to be the one to drive, I would have left the date. Like, that's so... I don't do cars. I don't do drifting. Like, me, I would be in the back seat having fun, but if I would have to be the one to do it, I'd be like, no, this is not
I would love to do that shit. I would love to do that. So I've always wanted to race stuff, like go-karts, midgets, whatever the cars are, whatever kind of class or category of cars they are. I just want to race something so bad against other people on a track. I think it'd be so fun.
I think that would be fun, but they're like, I don't know. I was like, this seems scary.
But I don't. That's fun. You're not. It's not like you're gonna hit something that's gonna kill you. They were like, what, cardboard boxes? Come on.
Yeah,
man.
that's the fact. I don't think Matt was supposed to break all of those things because the guy looked really mad. Like he like broke the car. Like, and I was like, we trust this man who flipped an ATV on the first date to drift a car and not flip that? Like, are we? This is dangerous. Like, this man lives on the edge. Like,
that's great.
I don't know.
Awesome. I loved it. I was like, dude, this is cool.
Yeah, it was a fun date. Not for me. I had a guy on our first date take me to teach me how to drive stick shift for our first date in his car. I was freaking out. I was like, you want me to drive your car and try and sticker out? He's like, yeah, it'll be fun. I was like, no. Okay. That's my nightmare. But
can you drive a stick now?
No, because I was freaking out the whole time. Like,
I've driven a stick only a few times. I can do it. I'm not very comfortable doing it, and my focus is solely on what I'm doing when I'm doing it, as opposed to an automatic transmission. I drive with my foot and I lean back like this, and I'm serious. I'm not kidding. I drive with my foot and I lean back in my
really. I can't do that.
Yeah, dude. All you got to do you got to give yourself some help by grabbing your foot. But you just grab your foot, you put it on your steering wheel there, lean back like this. You use your foot like this to turn the steering wheel.
No, you do not.
I swear. I've been doing it since I was 16, Sarah. I swear. I have driven on a road trip from here in Ohio to New Orleans one time when I was like 22, 23 or some shit. I drove, no shit, in the pouring rain.
That's so dangerous.
Straight nonstop with my foot, 80 miles an hour in the pouring rain, hydroplaning, driving with my foot. Dr. Dre, the Chronic 2001 album had just come out. Rocked that album the whole way.
He's driving with my foot.
It's awesome. I'll try to make a video for you to show you I'm not lying.
No, thank you. Oh. All right. Well, okay, so Jacenia got sent home. She told Matt she was falling in love with him, and he said, that's nice, bye, and sent her home. I was like, damn, Matt, okay.
Yeah.
Then we have the rose ceremony, straight into the rose ceremony, which he sent Piper home. Piper was pissed. That girl walked out, and she dropped his hand, got into that limo, slammed the door, and that they didn't say anything. He said, "I'm so sorry," and she just got in that limo and left. I was like,
well, fuck her then.
Girl, okay. Yeah. I don't understand people being that
colors when they get rejected. You know what I mean? It's like good riddance.
Why are you mad?
More than good. Bye.
Yeah. You're not his person. Why are you so angry? And she's just saying this is why I don't put myself out there. This is why I don't open myself up to love, because you get crushed and hurt. And it's what are you talking? Okay, I'm sorry, not really. Whatever. Yeah. So
when you join the team, dude, I don't feel bad for your ass at all.
No. So we have Rachel, Bree, Michelle, Serena P as our top four. This point forward, I have no idea what's going to happen. I really think Rachel's going to win, or at least be the runner-up, but who knows? I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited that the season's almost over, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I need a break. I am really hoping that there isn't as much. I mean, the guys bring drama, but different kinds of drama. Right. So hopefully the Bachelorette won't be as much drama. But yeah, until then, until we're back next week, J Wade, where can the people follow you?
You can follow me on the Twitter at JWade1134. That's the letter J, WADE1134. You can also follow my own personal network, the JCast Network, on the Twitter. You can also follow me at J Wade 1134 on stereo, and also the JCast network there on stereo too, where I have a Schmodown show. It's a sports talk show devoted to the movie trivia Schmodown. So if you like movies, if you like trivia, if you like wrestling, if you like sports, any of those, go check out the movie trivia Schmodown. You might enjoy it.
And you can follow me on Twitter at SCBuck, SSEABOCK. I'm so tired. I'm going to go take a nap. But you can follow the show on Twitter as well at Go Get That Rose. There's my dog right here. And then you can follow Merc with a Movie Blog on Twitter as well at Movie Blog Merc. You can find this show and more shows like the Marvel the Marvel show, recap show we do of WandaVision every Friday, 6:30 live on this channel as well.
It's Mini Fist Toe. Mini Fist Toe is in the house. That was.
If you think we're crazy here, go watch that show because we had like a 10-minute breakdown where we all just me, Jay, and Sean cried for like 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, and poor Dean up there, our British host of that show, trying so hard to keep us on track, and then he finally just gave up.
Yeah, that's how it be like that. Yep. But yeah, check out that show. Check out this show. We'll see you next week recapping more of The Bachelor. Goodbye!
Play. Oh, I hit the wrong one. There.